stay focused on your studies and your homework. Folks, remember, we want to see all of our marauders truly achieve at their very, very best. One important reminder as we come back together today is essential to review our school expectations and the provincial guidelines regarding COVID mitigation strategies. First off, wearing masks. Your teachers now have medical grade masks for you, our students, and they will be handed out in classes for students who want one. Hand hygiene. Please remember to do this every time you enter and exit every class and our school. And social distancing and maintaining very small bubbles are an absolute must. And remember, if you are sick, even with one symptom, stay home. Marauders, we need to do our very best to stay safe and keep others safe too. This, folks, is not just the responsibility of a few. We all have a part to play. Every single one of us. So, Marauders, do your part. And finally, welcome back. It's Marauder Monday, so if your name happens to be Saw Espanola, Kayla Johnson, or Mary Marshall, and you're proudly wearing Marauder Spirit wear, you're so fortunate because you won an amazing prize. Pop down to the office sometime today to claim it. Once again, it's great to have you back, Marauders. Have a most wonderful day, a fantastic short week, and most important, let's be safe out there.
Okay, good morning. We're going to go moderately slow here, just as we acclimatize to being back in the classroom. I've got some people following the stream from home, so I think they should be able to hear me. They won't be able to see me. I've lost my camera. Okay, what do you need?
The computers in the back are turning on.
Okay, I wish you'd have told me that sooner because now I've started and I can't get going. Can you try this one over here? Like all four of those won't turn on?
Yeah, I tried them all.
Okay, I will try and take care of those for tomorrow. What's up?
Well, I can't access my email, so I can't get the password reset.
Right. Okay, just sit. Do you have the computer turned on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just bear with us as we get everybody set up here.
Okay.
Computer is turned on?
Yep. It's, I haven't been able to log in, so I don't have the password either.
Is the mouse moving?
Yep.
That's the password.
Okay.
Do you have your username?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so just a few housekeeping things. I've been teaching computer-based classes for 20 years now, and the same thing always happens. I start talking, and nobody's listening because they're on their computer. So, I have this fancy tool at my disposal. So now you can't do anything because I know you're not listening to me when I talk. For the most part, your attention is going to be on your computer anyway because I'm just going to broadcast my screen to your computer when I do the lessons. As we go through this housekeeping stuff, and I'm doing it for the live users as well, as long as they can hear me. Nobody has said they can't. I'm hoping they can. Just a few things. The world, Regina is very dangerous right now in terms of COVID. I don't feel like this is a safe situation that we're in, so we're going to do everything we can to make it as safe as possible. The first thing is I don't want you sitting close to other students. Get at least a computer apart. You should be 2 computers apart, but I don't know if we have the room for that. Second of all, there's no reason for you to come back here. I can get to your computer directly myself. If you have a question, you can just say, hey, Baron, and ask your question from your seat, and I can remote into your computer, and I can help you with that. Okay? So there's no need for us to get up and walk around the room. Teams is open. I'd recommend you have it open. I'll have it open the whole class. I'll recommend you have it open as well. If you have a question and you don't want to yell my name out, because I understand that can be uncomfortable for some people, send me a message in Teams. I can chat with you there. Okay? Which seems ridiculous, but it's a little bit safer than us getting up and walking around the room. When it comes to using the bathroom, let's do this. Okay, so you've got my screen there. Hopefully the live viewers do as well. There's this thing that's called the virtual hall pass. You can't see it right now, but I am going to make that available to you. Hang on, I got an email. I just want to make sure nobody's having an issue. No. Okay, so this virtual hall pass, it's just a questionnaire through Moodle. It asks you, oh, I'm not eligible because I'm not a student. Okay. Hang on. Like I said, be patient. Transition. Switch role to student. Okay. This is the virtual hall pass. You can answer the questions, which are, what period are you in? It's going to be 1. Are you signing in or out? I'm signing out. Reason for leaving, whatever it is. Okay? Anytime you leave the classroom, you have to do this. Okay? At any point. You also have to remember that when you come back, you have to sign back in. Okay? So send me a message on Teams, say, hey Baron, can I go to the bathroom? I'll say, have you filled out the form? Done, away you go. Okay? Very, very simple. Please remember to sign back in when you come back. Questions on that? Okay, the next thing. You can sign into these computers using your student ID, or you can sign in as guest. I don't want you signed in as guest. Okay? I want you signed in as yourself. It will log your user on that computer. Your login will be faster each time. You'll be directly connected with your OneDrive without having to log in. Plus, that's how I do my attendance. Okay? So, please log in as yourself. If you don't remember your password, I can fix that for you. Okay, so please and thank you. Log in as yourself every day when you first get in. Okay, I believe that's all the housekeeping stuff. Oh, when you're not here, so tomorrow, I will most likely move on. Okay, so just like the people today are at home, they are getting lesson 4 strings and scratch from home. So tomorrow, all of you will get lesson 5 Boolean blocks from home. So you will need to log in just like you were doing during remote learning. Log in, keep up with the lesson, work on the assignment so that when you come back Wednesday, you're ready to move on to lesson 6. Okay? Please and thank you. Check in when you're at home. You need to do that, or you're going to be very, very confused and quite a ways behind everyone else. My live streams are all open. You can go back and watch them if you missed them, but I'm forgetting what my username is right now. Angry Baron? I can't remember. I'll look at it after and tell everybody. Okay, so you can just click the live stream link up here, go into my account. Maybe it's just Baron. I can't remember. Anyway, you can click this here, and it'll take you into my YouTube account, and you can go back and look at the streams that you've missed. Okay, just in case you can't log in when the live one is happening. All right, any questions? Any questions for people at home on Teams? All right, so moving forward, we should have finished Show Me Variables. That was a relatively easy one, and I ended up giving you 2 periods for it, which you really shouldn't have needed, but there were quite a few people behind, so hopefully people have caught up. Going on to lesson 4, strings and scratch. I'm still a student, so. Okay. Moving on to lesson 4. Strings and scratch. Okay, a string is a sequence of binary encoded computer characters including spaces. It's human language. Whatever language that's in, French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, whatever language you're in, if you're putting language text into code, it's called a string. Okay? It's not really important for you to understand that they're binary encoded. It is important for you to understand that computers view strings like a snapshot of what that string looks like. It contains no command value in any string. So anything you write in a string is not going to be taken by the computer as actual commands. It's going to say, oh, everything in there is a string. And almost every computer language, I shouldn't say that. The computer languages that I know, strings are always defined by quotation marks. Okay, so anything inside the quotation marks, the computer is going to say, okay, that's human language, I don't care about it. And it's just going to copy it exactly as it sees it and put it into wherever you're telling it to put it into. You can have up to 10,240 characters. There's ways to do that. Be more advanced. I don't really think any of you care. It's not really that important. I'm sure none of you are going to make anything that's more than 10,000 characters long. Any type of a character can be put into certain blocks. Here's the blocks that they can go into. Now, this is the most common. Hang on. Oh, it's not working on yours. Is it Denon?
Yeah.
Can you turn that computer on beside you and I'll broadcast to that one? For some reason I'm not getting you on this one. Okay, bear with me everybody, just a couple seconds. Okay, now you got me. All right. So this phrase right here, say hello world. Hello world is the most common way to start programming the first time. You get the computer to say to you hello world. Okay, that's relatively simple. Remember, we need an event. So if I create an event that says when this is clicked, then I want you to do something, and purple is our strings. I have a bunch of different options for things I can get it to say. I can get it to say a string for a period of time. I can just get it to say something. I can get it to think. The difference between say and think is like a comic book, right? In a comic book, there's a straight arrow pointing to the character that's speaking's mouth if they're speaking it. If they're thinking it, it's 3 dots. Okay, that's the difference between think and say. All right, so I can pick any one of these I want. If I want this one, I say, when this is clicked, say hello. All right? I'm not going to do that right now because I got a bunch of other stuff that's happening. But this is the basis behind a string. And this is where we would put hello world. Okay? Then the sprite would say hello world when I click this. But I got a bunch of other stuff going on, so let's do something else. All right, this one here, when the start button's clicked, say, and then you use these green, what are they called? Operators, where you join things together, okay? So all it's saying is you want to join two events. So the example is the username function. And I've actually joined two of them together here because I want to join together a command, a string, then a command, then I want to join together another string at the end. And that's what's happened right here. Okay? So with these join operators, or these join blocks, I can put anything that has that shape into that spot. So I could just type something and would say those two things. Or I can put two different statements in there. Okay? And then this sensing one, which is username, where is it? Right here. I could drag this username in here and then say something creepy. So I could say your username and then I could say I see you. Okay? That's all that join is for. That's what I have set up in this code block right here. So I have, when the program started, say all this join stuff. And I actually have one join there and another join there. Because I have three things I want to do. I want to use this string, I want to use this username command, and I want to use this quotation mark. So to add all of that together, all I do is put the string and the command block into one join, put it inside of another join, and then have the quotation mark to end that statement. And that's how I combine three things together. And you could do that infinitely over and over and over again. Okay, you could just continue to throw these joins inside and add more and more layers of nested strings and commands inside each other. Okay, they start to get confusing, but that's the one we want. Okay. Now I have my string set up the way I want it. I can put it back into the say. So now when I click start, it's going to say, hi, the real Baron, quotation mark. Okay, and you can see it right there. Okay, hi, the real Baron, quotation mark. There's also, whenever you use this username command, it's going to put a warning in before a person opens the program from the Scratch website. It's going to say this program uses username sensing commands. Are you okay with that? And then you have to say yes. It's not a big deal, but that'll come up. Okay? That is the basis behind the string. And I think that's all that this lesson is going through. The next one talks about which scripts can use strings. Okay? And we've talked a little bit about that. And then this one talks about how strings are still just ones and zeros, but don't worry about it. All right. There's more going on here, and I want to go through all of that. So I have several code blocks going on, none of which are commented. So if I was marking this assignment myself, I would take marks off. But let's put this down here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. So the first thing we have is that when the programs start, it's going to set my variable, which I've established down here. I've created a variable called score. You can see it displayed here. When I start the program, it's going to set score to a value of 0. So my variable, the box that's named score, has a value of 0 assigned to it. It's going to wait 5 seconds, and then it's going to broadcast game over. Okay, I created that broadcast right there. So after 5 seconds, the entire program is going to get the message, game over. All right? When this control block comes, it says, when I receive game over. So that's under events, when I receive. When I receive. Here's this code block right here. When I receive whatever message you're telling it it's going to receive, it's going to use this if-then statement. And an if-then statement, again, they make me teach it in this order. It doesn't really make sense. But I have a bunch of joins in here with strings. So all I'm saying here is if the score is less than 3 when you receive game over, say your score was whatever that score was. So whatever the value of the variable score was when it receives game over, it's going to say you suck at this, you kind of suck at this. Okay? So that means if the score is not less than 3, so that means if it's equal to 3 or it's greater than 3, this command line can't be carried out because this is now false. So this statement is false. If the value of score was 4, the statement's false, so it's not going to carry this out. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you what it looks like right here. So when I click this, score is going to be 0. Then I have this one here that says when the space bar is pressed, change score by 1. I have 5 seconds to change my score. So when I run the program, I push the space bar, score went to 1. The 5 seconds is going to elapse, and it says your score was 1, you kind of suck at this. Okay? So when the program received the game over broadcast, it checked what the value of score was. The value of score was less than 3, therefore it carried out what was on this line, which was to tell me my score and that I suck. Okay? Now, with these if-then statements, and we're going to spend more time on if-then statements in a couple days, but with this if-then statement, if this statement up here, if this right here is false, it's not allowed to carry out the first line. It goes on and it carries out this. So the comparison could be saying, if you were hungry, you will eat. Else, you starve and die. Okay? That would be the else. So the else is just what happens when nothing else is happening. Okay? I can see a few people, you're on your phone. Okay? That's not a smart decision right now. You should probably put that away if you don't have the ability to stay away from it. This is the important part of the class. You'll have time to go on your phone later if you're getting your work done. Stay focused so you understand. I understand this is taking long, but this is the building blocks for code. You have to have it. All right? So, if the value of the variable score is 3 or greater, it's going to use this line, which says, your score was, displays your score, and then says, you're okay, but Baron's better. So let's try it. I start the program, it sets the score to 0. I push the space bar 3 times. Score is no longer less than 3, and I get my output. Your score was 3, you were okay, but Baron is better, and that's right here. Okay? And I spelled okay wrong. But I think we'll all survive. That's not as bad as lowercase i's for yourself. Any questions on these strings or how they operate? Not seeing anything on Teams either. Okay, so back to here. In the assignment I have for this, I'm going to have you working with strings, not if-then statements. That you don't need to have those in the following assignments because obviously we're not working on if-then statements. If everybody is okay with this, I'm going to move on. Now you can put strings in to any sprite that you add. So if I had another sprite in here, surprise me. Okay, so I've got this robot sprite. I could add the same kind of commands into that sprite, and they would function independently. Okay, so when I start my program, the robot now says hello world. I can have all kinds of things happen differently. Maybe if the score is less than 3, the cat says, "Ha, you suck at this," and the robot says, "Don't be so mean." Okay, whatever you want to do, you can have those strings print out anything that you want based on any criteria that you give that sprite. You could also put strings. Can you? I don't know if I've ever done that. Who would say it? That's the question. backdrop. Oh, that's why I can't find it. So you can't use scripts on your backdrop. You can see here when I click the robot and I go into looks, I have the string scripts. When I click the backdrop, the string scripts have disappeared. Okay? Obviously because there's nothing to say that string. So you can't do that. Has to be, any strings have to be attached to a sprite. Okay, that's good to know. I've never tried that before. What just happened to... That was strange. Okay, going back to the class. We just finished lesson 4, strings and scratch. Lesson 5 is strings for Bible stories. Okay? Strings are easy, but I want you to do something that's a bit more advanced than Hello World. I want you to create a couple sprites and have them tell your favorite Bible story. This says you can paraphrase. I don't want a 45-page Bible story. Find a Bible story that you can paraphrase down to something simple. David wants to be in the army, but he can't, so David sneaks away. Goliath is a big giant. He wants to fight. Nobody wants to fight from David's army. David's like, I'll fight him, fights him with a sling and wins. Okay? Done. That's all I want. I don't need a 2-hour presentation of this with 10,000 characters in your string. Just the bare bones of the story. And like I said, if you don't have a favorite Bible story, I'll be okay with that. Just Google one. All right? There's tons. So you're going to recreate that Bible story in Scratch. Okay? So maybe the cat says, I'm going to tell you the story of when Jesus fed all the people with just a few fish and wine. Okay? Or I'm going to tell you the story of when Jesus walked on water. Or I'm going to tell you the story of Jonah and the whale. Whatever story you want to pick. All right? And the other sprite listens and maybe interjects some stuff. So what I want is things to happen one after the other. So that's where you're going to have to start using say things for 2 seconds instead of just the hello world. Okay? Or just the say one. Because you need what they say to disappear. So you'll have to have this one. So you'll have to have this one, and then you have to throw a weight in there, and then put in the second statement that they're going to make, and put in another weight, and so on and so on and so on until you can get that assignment working. Okay? The requirements, at least 2 sprites. The sprites must be telling or acting out a story from the New Testament or Old Testament. Paraphrase a story. Don't copy and paste an entire Bible story. Don't copy and paste anything. Ever. All right? Retell the story from your own words. If you've never heard any Bible story ever, read the Bible story and retell it from your words. I don't want copy and paste and information in. Just rewrite it for yourself. It doesn't take that long. Okay. Any questions? Good. I am going to say that the due date for this assignment, as we still have just an hour and a half-ish, okay? You still have an hour and a half to get this done. I think that's more than enough for that assignment to get it completed. So I'm going to say that that one is due today. What is it? May 4? May 3. Okay, May 3. And we will be able to move on tomorrow. So for those of you who are on the live stream at home, which looks like there's 5 of you right now, you'll get the next lessons tomorrow. And everybody here will have to log on and get those lessons using YouTube. Last chance. Any questions, confusions? Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Email me. Teams will be open. Let me know if you have questions.